Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've done a video. It's obviously been a massive couple of weeks for me personally as well. There's been obviously some personal issues I had to deal with, but I also released a book about Derek Hoogaard. There'll be a video around that coming up soon on this channel as well, which I'll explain exactly what the book's about and why you should read it. And of course today, the Springboks named their team for the quarterfinal. Massive quarterfinal. France. I don't think there's a bigger game. This could easily have been the final of the Rugby World Cup, and I think there's a bunch of us who still feel a bit bad about that. But being as it may, you play the teams you have to play, and you dealt the cards that you dealt, and you must go for it. And the Boks have done it. They named their team this morning. What a team! Huge team that they've named, banking a lot on experience. A lot on not changing too much what they want to do, and I don't think there's too many surprises. Big question, the big debate in this week: do they go with Handré Pollard and who do they go with Manie Libbok? I think if you watch, there's a video on there about I spoke to Swayze in our podcast To the Last Drop with the MDL.com. Swayze the Brain also asked him who he'd go for, and he went with Manie. And if you watch that video, you can see his reasons why he said that as well. I think also the Boks have gone for Manie over Handré. I think it's good to back the guy. I think what you realize is that how we're going to play depends on who we pick, and the way we've been playing lately, if you want to keep that continuity and you want to keep that attacking sort of shape, you have to play Manie. Handré, for all he's worth, he's great at goal kicking. I know that's a lot of people's worries, but Manie brings something special. He's the way he marshals that back line. He's given a different dimension, a different aspect to the Bok attacking game, and that's why he's probably been picked over Handré. But it's good to have Handré on the bench. It gives you that sort of insurance against the goal kicking woes that we hope. But I think it's great to have both of them, and you can change the way you play when Handré comes on. Of course, Faf de Klerk also missing out, and with Handré they say you change the halfback combination in the second half or whenever you feel like you need to do it, and it brings you a different aspect of the game, and you can play much more tactical. Hopefully be ahead on the scoreboard by that stage, but I think this is a game where it's going to come down to small margins, and the Boks need to be good. So I think Manie knows the pressure on him. I think he knows what's expected of him, and I think his confidence, I think the way he kicked against Tonga when he came on in the second half showed that he's probably worked out the small little things in his game plan. I'm hoping he has, of course, and we're hoping that he gets it right. This is the decision that the Bok management have taken, so you've got to back them on that. And I think the other interesting question is obviously Kobus Reinach at scrum half. And I know it might surprise a couple of people because there was expectation that Faf will play, but I think when you realise the way Kobus has been playing, Jacques Nienaber said a while back that he played his best rugby against Argentina and in Buenos Aires, and he was so impressed with how he played there. So if you take that into consideration, the way Jacques was speaking about him, and the way Kobus has been playing, scored a hat-trick against Romania and has really played some great rugby for the Boks, and the way he's interacted with Manie as well, I think that's part of the reason why. He's also a player who's vastly experienced, and this whole team selection speaks of experience and balance to me, and that's why they've gone for that. And he plays in Montpellier in the French league. He knows the French players very, very well. So I think his insight has been valuable in that respect. So I'm not surprised at all that he's there. Maybe a little surprised in that you probably thought they would go for the status quo of Faf. But I think Kobus adds a bit of different dimension and will make the French think a bit. He's incredibly fast, and it's going to help the Boks play a faster game plan. Of course, we'll have to see how tactical it is in such a high-stakes, high-pressure game plan. I think if you look at the rest of the team selection, there's not too much that surprises me. Let's go from the back. The back three, I pretty much expected Damian Willemse. I've said this before. He's the guy who sort of cemented himself in that spot, for the number 15. The two scrum off wingers, Cheslin Colby and Kurt Arendse, game breakers, guys who can really test the French wingers out wide. I know everyone talks about Damien Penaud, and he's a great finisher, but on defence there are a couple of things that he can be found wanting on, and I think the Boks are going to look to probably exploit that as well. The French have been a little bit vulnerable out wide at times, and I think the Boks are looking to that. I'll probably do a much more in-depth preview a bit later today as well, before the game. But just on the selection itself, the midfield, I don't think there was ever a question that would be anybody other than Damien de Lende or And Jesse Krill as that. I know people talk about Lucanio arm coming in, but I think what you've got to realise, Lucanio hasn't played a match for so long, and going into such a high pressure stakes game with a guy like him, is a bit of a concern. So I think the Boks, they trust their midfield, and Damien de Linde to me has been playing some exceptional rugby. His work rate in the field is unmatched, and Jesse's been brilliant in marshalling the defence. So I think those are the type of things the Boks look at when they make these selections. Then we've spoken about the halfbacks. Looking at Dwayne Vermeulen's back, and that tells me experience. Dwayne over Jasper, I think just in terms of the experience, what you want, and the type of guy who's going to get into those heated battles with the French pack. Dwayne's the guy, and Jasper's great at getting over the gain line. I think Dwayne's just a bit more nuanced in his play as well, and also good over the ball as well. So that's a good decision, and it's the same loose trio that won the World Cup 4 years ago. So they're looking at that as well. Franco Mostert, even Etzebeth, the lock combination that beat the Lions. They play together probably more than most lock combinations worldwide. So there's no qualms there. In the front row, I think it's the best front row you could pick. Bongi, Stephen Kitsoff and Frans Malherbe, nothing wrong there. Looking at the bench, going with a 5-3, I think that's mainly because of the situation that you're going to want to play Handré there, and you want to have Faf there. So that sort of leaves you with, we don't need to, I suppose, go with a 6-2 or, I know Russie was having some jokes on Twitter about 8-0 and a 7-1, and I know it's always good to keep the opposition guessing a bit like that, but if you look at the backup front row, it's the best backup front row we got. Vincent Koch coming in ahead of Trevor Nyakane. Interesting one that. I think probably Vincent offers a bit more in the scrumming stakes, probably a stronger scrummer. And we're going to have an intense, magnificent battle up front. So looking forward to that. This is going to be a massive game for both packs and both front rows, and I can't wait for that contest as well. So Dion Fourie, Vincent Koch, Oxenchair, you wouldn't have expected anything different, and then the two go-to guys on the bench, Kwagga Smith and RG Snyman, you wouldn't expect anybody different there either. So the forwards on the bench, no problem there. Handré and Faf, we can explain why. Obviously, to have that luxury of having Handré there, you've got that. You go back to the 5-3, and then Villeneuve brings more than 90 tests of experience later in the game. So that's my thoughts on the team that's been picked. I think the Boks have gone for balance. They've gone for experience. They've gone for a team that can withstand all the pressures that they're going to get in this quarterfinal. It's going to be a baying crowd. It's going to be the French on their home soil. Sorry, there's some stuff on the roof here falling. I don't know what's that. Anyway, but it's going to be a massive contest, and they're going to need to be efficient, they're going to need to be clinical, and they're going to need to be disciplined. But I'll do more about that in a game preview a bit later on the channel. But those are my thoughts on the Springbok selection. Thanks for watching, and smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Good to be back on camera. Cheers.